Joining us now to discuss that and all things Green Bay Packers, he is the one, he is the only Ryan Wood. Good afternoon, Ryan.
You know what? That's actually not true. There is a Ryan Wood in Dallas that gets Packers
there's a whole bunch of I was going to say
all the time. And I hear from maybe once a year, like, hey, not me.
I worked with a Ryan Wood once, and it was not you. So, yeah, it's true. He's one of the
what's
very
the
many.
T? What's
very
the
many.
T stand for, Ryan? RT Wood? What's the T?
Thomas. It's a family name.
The one and only Ryan Thomas Wood.
Yeah,
there it is, right here.
Yeah.
Nice. We're back.
Nice. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Phoenix was a blast. Can I ask you guys a question? So I'm just curious about something. Your phone calls that you get in on the negative to positive scale, what's the temperature that you're seeing with Packers fans right now?
Oh, good question, Mace.
Yeah, that is interesting. I think there's just still a little, maybe I think it's right in the middle, like some uncertainty on like exactly what this team's going to be. But I don't know. Tommy's making a face. You don't agree?
I feel like this is the most negative number one seed in the NFC of all time. Not even just Packers,
maybe that's
all
where
time.
Maybe I don't see it as negative. I just see uncertainty as like waiting for this team to prove and show what they actually are. So maybe it is a little more negative. But yeah, what are you feeling, Ryan?
Well, okay, so here's why I asked, because my most direct link to the fan base, which is something that for all of us in this business is invaluable. But my most direct link is Twitter, which is not exactly society's bastion of positivity.
Bastion of negativity, exactly.
Right. So all I see is negative, and I just feel like two things can be true at the same time. It is true that the Packers from here in the next 10, 11 weeks to the end of the season need to get better. They need to be more cohesive offensively. They need to shut down some leaks defensively. The special teams has obviously been better. That needs to continue. They need to get better. I don't think any of us are blind to that. I also feel like it swung so much to that direction that you might be shocked if you look up and at 4-1-1, the Packers are not just the one seed right now in the NFC. They're one of only two teams in the NFL with one loss. The other, the Colts, who are stopping everybody in the AFC. Like, I think this team deserves a modicum of credit for, as they figure things out, they are winning football games. And that was a tough win in Phoenix. Like, everything that could go wrong, starting with a 5-hour plane delay, which is not nothing. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. They didn't lead until inside the 2-minute warning, and they still left the desert with the victory. That's what good teams do. When adversity hits, you still find a way to win. We said a month ago, right, after Cleveland, this is a team that needs to still figure out ways to win. They've shown that they can do that. I think they can be a much worse spot than they are right now.
Yeah. So Ryan, are you saying like fan base, especially Twitter fan base? So like, I do think that might be two separate things at times.
Right.
Like you said, two things can be true. Twitter fan base, normal, real fan base, like appreciate wins. A road win's a road win. Like a win in the NFL, regardless of what it looks like, is a win. Like each game, each week, it's its own little mini season because these other teams are pros too. They're game planning. They're looking how to shut certain things down. And then I said it all last week. I'm like, weird things happen when you go to the desert. You know, it's like I think in sports and in life. So weird things happen when you go to the desert. Weird thing happened on the travel out there. It wasn't the most beautiful game, but they found a way to win. And I think there needs to be some appreciation for the fact that they built a really good football team. There's a lot of talent on that field. And the fact that they can play some sloppy games or games that just aren't perfect at times and still find ways to win, it's really, really good. And that Dallas Cowboy tie is actually looking okay with how the Cowboys scored points. I mean, to be able to just go down there and especially in Dallas, they're scoring the points at a high clip right now. Mm-hmm. So I think we can look at this season right now as a very, very positive thing. If you are to jump onto the Twitter fan side, and Tucker Kraft had some comments and you talked about the cohesiveness of that offense. What did you see there in Arizona offensively, that just like it looked like they weren't on the same page. Some guys maybe ran some wrong routes, ran into each other. There were a few things that kind of went a little weird. Just talk about that offense out there in Arizona.
I think more than anything, it looks to me like not a full offense, and it's not a full offense. Now that's not an excuse. You still have to figure it out because that's the league. The league is not having your full pieces available every single week. Injuries are everywhere. You still have to figure it out, which they did. But also, when you don't have Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, and you're trying to hold Josh Jacobs to 20 to 25 snaps, so you don't really have a full run game, you're not going to go on the road and put up 30 plus. Like that's not the expectation. The expectation is you make winning plays in critical moments and you figure out a way to get the W, which is what they did, obviously, on that 4th and 2. I think that offensively, and it seems like it's been this way for a few weeks now. I get that they're egalitarian in their passing game. I get that they like to spread it out to everybody. Jordan Love, very different than Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love just runs the offense almost robotically, right? It is what is on paper, what is the defense.
Too robotically? Robotically?
I think that they're at a point now where this core's been together 2 to 3 years. They've developed, and no one develops at the same rate. Everyone's individualistic in their development, and it's been enough time where you can look up and, okay, Tucker Kraft got 10 targets. That should be a norm, right? That shouldn't be a rare thing. He needs to get about 8 to 10 targets every week. Matthew Golden gets 3 targets on the opening drive. One of those, he catches all 3. One of those is to convert a 4th down. One target the rest of the game.
Yeah, that was
Romeo
great.
Doubs has 8 targets. Romeo Doubs is a reliable, solid pro. He should have a role in this passing game, in this offense. He showed that right before halftime, right? Who was reliable, made the play to get him in the field goal range? It was Romeo Doubs. Is 8 targets the right number for him? Like, at some point, I feel like even if you want to spread the love and take what the defense is giving you, you have to also prioritize where your matchups are. Where are your best playmakers, and really emphasize getting the football to them. They don't seem to do that. I just think the time is now where you have to start prioritizing who are the guys that have that extra burst, that explosiveness, that pop that can give you more explosive plays.
Yeah. You know how I feel. I feel like there should always be, it's a 1A, 1B, 1C type of situation, right? Where it's like, let's force it to somebody in like until they stop it. And then we kind of pivot off of that. That's my mindset. Obviously, LaFleur is more of a, let's just take what they give us. Let's try to chess match scheme around all of those things. But I'm looking at this like too, if you look at the Packers schedule and like where they're at, if they hold it, like if they score 24 points or more, like they would be what, 5-1 right now in that situation. If you just said, all right, Packers scored 24 points in every game, the only loss would actually, they would have lost to the Cowboys, right? So like this team like only has to score but they have to score 24 points, and they are going to win they probably win 14 games this year if they score 24 points or more in every game. This defense is legit. They are disruptive, crazy. I saw Micah Parsons' numbers, 93.3 PFF grade, best in the NFL. His pressure rate's the best in the NFL. I mean, do you think Micah Parsons is playing at a level where he's one of the top considerations for Defensive Player of the Year at this moment? And do you think that he has the ability to continue that and actually win that award here for this Green Bay Packers?
And I think he has to be in the conversation based merely on the presence he's had on this defense. I mean, it's been a game changer, and that goes outside the production. Whether he wins it or not might depend on how many opponents follow the asinine idea that Jonathan Gannon had to block him one-on-one continuously for 4 quarters. That was the most inexplicable thing that happened Sunday was, and I get the Detroit Lions did this too with Penei Sewell. They went into the opener and they wanted to block Micah Parsons one-on-one with Penei Sewell. And then Micah Parsons does what he does one-on-one to any tackle. He beat Penei Sewell, and then they adjusted full slides, chips. They didn't leave Penei Sewell for the rest of the game one-on-one. I get going into a game, they got Paris Johnson Jr., they got Jonah Williams, a pair of top half of the first round tackles. Going into that game saying, okay, we got guys, let's see how this goes. But when it goes the way it did, when Micah Parsons right off the bat on a 3rd and goal gets a sack and forces a field goal, when it's clear that you cannot block this guy one-on-one, how do you never adjust? Like, how do you just continue doing the same thing? What's the definition of insanity? Continue and do the same thing and expecting a different result. The result never changed because they never changed what they were doing. I can't imagine starting this week in Pittsburgh. I can't imagine Micah Parsons is going to see a whole lot more one-on-ones continuously through 4 quarters.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's a great take. That's a great take. Let's move. You talked about Pittsburgh, so I do want to talk about this upcoming game, and we're going to be talking about it all week. What's your expectation for this week? Do you think LaFleur's comments about Aaron Rodgers? We're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's just the quarterback of that team. Do you think his mindset is truly there, or do you think there is just that little nugget of like extra that is going to come with this game? What do you think about that?
Well, I think inside that locker room that consists of 2 or 3 guys that actually played with Aaron Rodgers now, Elton Jenkins, Rashawn Gary. I mean, Kenny Clark's gone. There's just nobody there played with him. I do think that it can be a modicum of a normal week to all these youngsters, but that's exclusive to them because to nobody else on the outside is this a normal week. This is Aaron Rodgers versus the Green Bay Packers, and that's a massive, massive matchup. And it's certainly Aaron Rodgers versus the Green Bay Packers to Aaron Rodgers. He remembers playing for the Green Bay Packers. This is going to be a special week for him. I do think this would be a heck of a win if they're able to go into Pittsburgh on a Sunday night. That defense has given up points on the road this year. It hasn't given up much at home. It held the Seahawks to 17 points. It's been pretty good at home. And you've got a quarterback in Aaron Rodgers that I think knows how to beat this defense the way it's been playing. He is not going to hold on to the football. He is going to get rid of it. He is going to find his playmakers. It's not going to be like 6 sacks, Jacoby Brissett, like it was last week. So how do the Packers adjust defensively to the quick passing game is going to be a massive part of this deal.
Yeah, what do you think? Like, what adjustments?
That's Aaron's thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. What do you think Hafley, like, what is a mindset for a Hafley, if that is kind of the recipe? Like, how does he adjust to that? Do they play more man coverage? Are they trying to press at the line? Do you think, I mean, I don't know if you want to just press DK Metcalf, though, because he is a big physical wide receiver. So what do you think Hafley's adjustment is? Or do you just take that, just keep playing how you're playing and say, like, if someone wants to quick game us, we're going to tackle well, try to get off the field, might not get a lot of turnovers, but they are not going to score 20, 4+ points on us. What do you think Hafley's mindset is going into this week?
Yeah, it's interesting because Jeff Hafley last week made it very clear that if teams want to continue averaging 5.5 yards per pass on this defense, which is what was the season number going into Arizona, he's just fine with that. Now, let's be very clear about this. 5.5 yards per pass, which is obviously higher now, but 5.5 yards per pass is an elite number. It'd be not just the best in the NFL this season. It was the best since the 2009 New York Jets allowed 5.4 yards per pass. In 2009, New York Jets were the best defense in football. That is an elite number. So if that's what it's going to be, I think Jeff Hafley is just fine with that because, as he said, explosive plays win games. The lack of explosive plays makes it very, very difficult in this league to win games. If you want to talk schematics, and certainly any other week going forward after this week, the answer is just disguise the best you can, right? I mean, that's how you give your pass rush the best chances. Create some confusion on the back end, force the quarterback to hold it just that tick longer. Your pass rush gets home. The problem against Aaron Rodgers is good luck disguising anything. Like, Aaron Rodgers has seen it all. You want to talk about Joe Flacco's wealth and catalog of experience in this league? Aaron Rodgers is that tenfold, and he still can make any throw. I mean, there's not – if you watch Aaron Rodgers this season, he doesn't move like he used to. He's more immobile, but he can make any throw there is. The arm has not gone at all. It's still as talented of an arm as it's ever been. So disguising against this quarterback will be very difficult. I think it comes down to just winning your matchups. Like, the coaches can do all they can to put the players in the best position possible, but at the end of the day, these players have to win their matchups against those receivers, secondary versus wideouts. That's going to be a big part of determining this game.
Yeah, you got something?
I started talking and my mic was off. Ryan Wood joining us here on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. Is Nate Hobbs terrible?
He had a really rough day in Arizona. I think it's fair to question whether Carrington Valentine needs more snaps. But Carrington Valentine had a really rough day in Dallas too. So it's not like that's a foolproof way to fix that side of the field, which probably helps explain why Matt LaFleur, when asked that question on Monday, said that he expects Nate Hobbs to fully bounce back. You know, adversity is part of playing this league, especially at corner. Yes, he needs to be better. But they also brought him in to play perimeter corner. They paid him starting perimeter corner money on the free agent market. And I think it's going to take more than 1 week to wreck those plans. I think they are going to be more patient with him.
Ryan, I'm seeing our foes from the South on TV right now, so it just got my mind thinking. And I loved Mitch's concise question. Are the Chicago Bears a good team?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That's hard for me to go on the record and say that right now, because I feel like the Chicago Bears, every time you might start to entertain the idea, the possibility that they might be something resembling good, they show that they're not, and they're still the Chicago Bears. But they're a team that you can't take lightly, right? They've won 4 straight games. So any team in this league that's won 4 straight games is a team that you have to start taking somewhat seriously. It's premature for me to say that they're good. The reality in this conference, the Packers, number 1 seed, 4-1-1. Look behind them. It is loaded at 5-2. I mean, not just a few. There are several 5-2 teams. This is a loaded conference, which brings me back to the point of it's October. You shouldn't be playing your best ball in October. The Packers certainly are. The only point of October football games is to win them, to stack wins, which is what they're doing, what they need to continue to do this week. If you are a fan in the NFL who will only be happy seeing your team win by 3 touchdowns every week, this will be a miserable existence for you. That is not this league. This is a league of parity. It's a league designed for close games. Good teams win close games, as the Packers just did. Bad teams, like the Arizona Cardinals, lose 5 straight games by a combined 13 points. They're all close, but they don't know how to win because they're not a good team. All games are close. You have to just stack wins the best you can.
Man, that's a great point, Ryan. And now you've been covering football, covering the Packers for a long time. Like, you're talking about these 5-2 teams, all that. Like, this will separate here in the next 3 weeks or so.
After Halloween, you take the mask off,
injuries,
right?
Yep. Like, who's healthy, which teams can stay healthy, and then adjust to those injuries. So do you are you always in that mindset? Like, you just kind of hold on, until like Tommy said, after Halloween, and then everything kind of will actually reveal itself for who are the best teams in this league? Is that kind of what your mindset is going on here for the next month or so?
Yeah, to your point, Mason, the NFC West is going to cannibalize itself, right? There's 3 5-2 teams in the NFC West. They're going to play each other. It's not going to stay that way. So now some years you have, like last year in the NFC North, you get 3 teams from a division in the playoffs. That can happen. But it will start to separate itself. What you want to do is play your best ball the second half of December on, right? Really after Thanksgiving. Once the calendar hits after Thanksgiving into December, you want to be playing your best ball. When you look at, especially this offense, Jaden Reed's coming back at some point. Christian Watson's coming back soon, if not this week, then next. I think the question for this offense is, there is another gear that exists for this offense when all the playmakers are back. How high is that gear? Like, is it just a low bump that they get, or does it make a world of difference in terms of explosiveness when you have Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, when Matthew Golden has had another 6 weeks to 2 months of developmental time, when Tucker Kraft is even more firmly entrenched as a go-to target in this offense? How high is that ceiling? I don't know the answer to that yet. I think we're all going to be watching to see what that looks like as they progress.
Well, you just said the names. I mean, think about who are in those spots for Jaden Reed and for Christian Watson. You got Dontavian Wicks, Malik Heath. Like, we have not heard their names very much this year, right? For a team that spreads the ball around and takes off, those guys are not stepping up and taking over whenever Matthew Golden or Dobbs might be, getting locked up. So you just plug in Christian Watson, Jaden Reed back into that team, and now you have Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden, Romeo Dobbs, Tucker Kraft as your 5 passing options. That sounds really good. And this team, so you watched the game last night, I'm assuming, the Lions game, Lions-Tampa. And I said earlier in the show, this Packers team is built they need to win the division and they need to play home playoff games. I don't want to see them have to go through Detroit to get to where they want to go. Do you agree with that? And just talk about what the difference Detroit is at home versus playing on the road. I mean, obviously we saw them week 1 versus what they do at home. It's night and day difference.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating matchup on Thanksgiving and when they go back into the Lions' den, and we'll see how repeatable that week 1 performance is when they go to Detroit. Just look at how the Packers have played home and away this year, right? They haven't really been tested at home in 3 home games, and they've had to fight. They're 1-1-1 on the road, and they finally did win a road game. They finally also won by playing catch-up, which I think was even more important for this team because 5 straight games before Sunday, every single one of those, they opened with a double-digit lead before allowing a single point. So they've been playing from lead the entire season. And then you are in a position where it's 13-3 late in the first half. You have to make a decision. Okay, 7 seconds left. Get in field goal range for a 61-yarder. Cut the deficit. Continue to chip away. An entirely different flow of the game, and they were able to get a win. That stacking that in the back of your mind for later in the season, that's very valuable. I do think that the Lions gave a great blueprint of how the Packers win the game this week. When I talk about winning matchups, right? Like it didn't matter who they had. Like they were completely depleted in their secondary, but they mauled a very talented, explosive Bucks passing offense because their players just won their matchups, their play style. And that's why coaches preach play style. Their play style is off the charts. That's what this Packers defense needs, especially on the back end again this week against Aaron Rodgers, is that type of play style, that type of just mauling mentality. If you bring that to Pittsburgh, you got a really good chance of leaving with the win. If you don't, Aaron Rodgers is going to carve you up.
Man, Ryan Wood, I appreciate you. It's always good having you on. And, this is going to be a fun, exciting week. So you heading out to Pittsburgh? You going to be out there?
Yeah, I'll be there. Mason, question for you. You got a 62-yarder in you right now? You get the competitive juices going a little bit?
One time, baby. Let's go.
I'm gonna CGI. I think you saw my post yesterday. I got the ball right here. I'm gonna CGI myself kicking it. Yeah, 62 yards just to make sure that record stays intact.
We should do a series of Mason reenacting the longest kick every week from a Packer and see if he can just keep doing it. See where it goes out. I got one for Ryan real quick here. We've been talking about failure a lot on this show, Ryan. Was the New York Mets season a failure?
Oh, that's
wow. No. I mean, like I just want to gauge the interest of failure.
Was the Milwaukee Brewers season a failure? I'll throw it right back at you.
No, I don't think the Milwaukee Brewers season was.
The NLCS was, but the season wasn't.
Right.
Yes. My God, was the New York – is the sky blue? What? You have a $300 million plus payroll. You missed the playoffs with 83 wins? That is in the dictionary under the word failure. You have a picture of the 2025 New York Mets.
Oh, yes.
It's a failure. It's a failure with a capital F.
Well, yesterday, Cal Rowley called the Mariners season a failure. Is that season a failure? If you don't win the World Series, is it a failure? And I know the Mets spent a lot of money and didn't make the playoffs, but I just wanted to gauge on where we're going with the failure topic.
Yeah, well, if the Packers don't win, if they don't go to the Super Bowl this year, is that a failure? I think that's a heck of a question because this is still a young team. The window doesn't close after 2025. The window's open the next few years at least, right? And yet, when you bring on Micah Parsons, you're signaling this is Super Bowl or bust. So I would have to think that, if you don't make the Super Bowl with Micah Parsons, with all the investments that you've made, Xavier McKinney, Josh Jacobs 2 years ago, Jordan Love third season, if you don't make the Super Bowl, that's a failed season.
This is the timing. It's just kind of how you build teams and then time it out. This is that year. So I'd agree with you.
All right, awesome. Guys, take care.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Ryan Wood joining the Mason Crosby show as he does every week. He's with the Green Bay Press Gazette. Check out all his stuff. Oh man, I love talking ball with Ryan. He's awesome.
Yeah, he knows his stuff, that's for sure. And it's not his fault he's a Mets fan. Like sometimes you're just born into.
I love that shade, Tommy.
We were gauging failure.
Right. Yes, we were gauging failure. Speaking of gauging failure or lack thereof, I think we had a pretty good week. Let's talk about our picks coming up. Of course, every week we pick all the games in the NFC North. We pick the Badger game, and then we, depending on how many games are left over, we have another bonus game, or we just pick our own game. And unfortunately for me, somebody decided to throw a 99-yard pick six on the last play of the first half and totally changed the game. Like that game goes in as a 6-point game at halftime. I'm feeling pretty good about myself. As a 17-point game, that did not go the way it was supposed to go.
Not how.
But we will look at our picks coming up when we come back. And then, of course, Mason's extra points at the very end. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Ryan Wood joined us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all.